What?
Hi.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I haven't been in here since the Beat Poetry Festival, and that was a riot. It was 3 days.
It was.
3 days.
It was.
Of amazing perform. You read? You
I
were
did.
amazing.
Interpretive dance for mom.
Yeah, and like what I loved about it is, and it's a great festival, but PCR and like Fred came to me and they're like, it's white men every year. Like, can we shake it up this time? And we did. We did. It was awesome. We got our most people. We invaded the Beat Museum, and I'm really happy to be back and share some old writing that kind of creeps me out and new stuff. So, I mean, we're here. Why not? This doesn't have a title. I just found it. So it's found. Hey, Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy.
Using the camera lens on my phone when I wake up to see how bad my dark circles are. Regretting the glass filled to the brim the night before. In the house alone, I make my morning wail noises, flip my fins and flail my arms, turn my head back and forth in the pillow. I leave the bed unmade so it's covered, but showing its little stitches, and shower with a broken brush using the middle thistles. I get out of the small, humid shower and dab my face with a cotton swab soaked in walnut oil, which I read somewhere could be used as toner. The oil is clear and odorless, like I imagine a dream. I remember she's coming, so make my bed. I don't have anything for her to eat for breakfast, and I'm craving that country loaf at Star Grocery that I'll cut thick and chew big like Skylar did when he'd taken a plane and train to visit Providence. Eventually turning our backs to each other in bed and saying we should no longer write to each other. Sunrise. Rushing to the train station where I gave him the worst kiss I've ever given. Abrupt, dry, cracked like the eggshells left in the carton, short like the time we spent together. So this is an old poem too, but and so many people here have heard it, but I'm gonna read it anyway.
Read it.
Oh.
I wrote it on a work trip to Fresno, and I was with a coworker. I work in public relations, and we represent a supermarket in Central Valley that has like deep roots in the valley, and we were doing this whole campaign, and my coworker and I were, tasked with going down there and doing this campaign and driving out there, and we both looked at each other like, fuck. But I fell in love with Fresno, and I fell in love with my coworker, and she was just diagnosed with cancer. And I feel like I've been reading this poem, and a lot of it is like in honor of her and her sister who's also in the poem, but like tonight and seeing her at work every day and just how strong she is in her sense of humor and how she's just like, fuck cancer, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna do the work, and even if I have to work from home, I'm still gonna do the work. And she's just so inspiring. And it's interesting, like the parallel between Fresno and me having all these preconceptions around Central Valley and not really knowing her, and then having to drive there and back like 3 hours one way and just seeing through a different lens. So this is called Fresno Lindo y Querido, and it's for Rosemary. Down to Fresno in a rental, sun as strong as the smell of onion. Mile after mile we pass rows of nameless produce we eat without knowing the origin. Apricots, walnuts, even low white cotton bowls. And I wonder where the children go to school and who lives in the houses down the narrow dirt roads. I learned that here 14-year-olds rise at 4 a.m. to feed boar goats, raise them from birth to auction, and feel pride, not separation anxiety, when their animal is sold. It's a way of life. and a responsibility, learning how to care for a thing and let it go. The sun settles pink and red as we listen to NPR radio. I time sunset photos between passing cars and telephone poles. Signs of water wars shuffle through. Make America great again. We listen to talk of Kavanaugh just sworn in. My mind drifts to mujeres from Mexico, 80% of them claiming sexual harassment while working the fields. We pass another billboard that reads, El hombre sabia busca la sombra. A man knows to seek shade. Another sign says employers should provide water and other derechos, como sombra y descanso, shade and rest. Si quiere durar, no olvide descansar. How far life seems in the city, where we sit for hours under buzzing lights in waterfront buildings, filling mason jars with water to remind us to get up and stretch, refilling each time the jug becomes empty. By this time, the fields are cleared save for souls soft in the dimming light. I listened to your story about your sister, how she died of a heart condition. Oh, good. And how you talk to her.
You got it.
And how you talk to her as if she were still alive. I look into the grapevines while we talk of the importance of the arts, which your sister loved. And I too hear whispers. Whispers of generations, whispers of farmers' hands moving swiftly. We hear a report on Patterson, the valley farm town where thousands of robots pack goods for Kohl's and Amazon. I picture youth in distribution centers along Interstate 5, getting paid more and learning shipping logistics safe from the oppressive sun, picking bottles of pills and condoms with machine's assistance may beat the back-breaking toil of gathering fruit, but will it last? And will it pay enough for people to live? We innovate before we meditate and automate so fast. The image of two upturned hands serving fresh food on a table may one day vanish. I stop and wonder. Imagine a field with no onion scent. Imagine a field that smells of ghost and of rust, the smell of progress.
Yeah!
You're doing great, poet.
Tony, I love you. Okay, switching gears a little bit. I wrote an erotic poem.
Yeah!
Which I would never, ever, ever in like a million years read, but I feel like the beats kind of like fucked over like women writers, so I want to share this.
Go
I mean, if not now, when, right? Daylight savings time. I gotta get in there. I wanted to save a mood of you and a daylight saving time light for the morning when I could sit with it, the quiet thought of how hot we burned unshowered, on the bed uncovered, our dirty sheets and clothes kerplunking in the dryer, while your hands raised my arms overhead by both wrists, and your lips kissed the flesh of my neck, the tender spot under ear, and each breast. My hand ran through your mussed morning hair, Your tongue traced circles around my nipple and made me quiver underneath you, wanting and waiting. Thighs pressed around your waist, expectant and ravenous for the radiant warmth of you inside me.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
I mean, just emotions, right? Like sadness. And then that. I don't know what that is. That was weird. It was
Life.
weird. It was weird.
It's hot.
Like sharing it with you. But I was somewhere having a drink for Liquid Courage before this, and like the bartender's like, "Where are you going? Where do you go to the fridge for?" Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to a reading at the Museum." And he's like, "Are you reading? I'll give you a free glass of wine for a poem." And I'm like, "No, dude. Like, no. It's one thing to read to you in a weird bar, like no, but to a group of people I love, yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. The game free.
Sorry if it's here. That'd be awkward. Okay, so this is called Unlikely Oasis, and lately I've just been getting down about the city. I don't know. I love living here, but I hate living. Like I hate being pushed out and like paying basically a house payment for a tiny apartment, and I don't know. It's just rough. It's rough, but there are these glimpses and these moments where I'm like, I would never leave this place. Ever. And there's a poet, Estela de la Cruz, who reads at Voss, and she had this line that is the beginning of this poem. I had to open it and quote her. "The beauty I on occasion encounter is worth it."
Yeah.
And so this is Unlikely Oasis. Everyone needs a getaway car to get to the white empty room where we remember the dream, imagine the window, return to the bridge or the tinderbox studio, the fire escape with the red bougainvillea, all its blossoms and thorns overgrown. In this life we forget. We began as clear and improbable beings, near impossibilities. At some point or another, we all need to get to a forest or look at some waves, surround ourselves with harsh, honest brethren, be in silence with trees. I heard you in the dark and cradled your head in my hands, wept, remembering how you said, "I can't get deep enough. It will never be enough." When the distance between who we were and who we are and who we want to be becomes so hazy, we want to book a ticket, turn the globe, land our finger, draw a straight line to something, even if it means finding emptiness, zero, zilch, nothing, turn back around. Throw down, poets. Make an unlikely oasis.
Yeah. Hell yeah.